Give me 1 second. And then I'm going to oh, there we are. I'll let you know when we're being live. I'm gonna record this too. Give me 1 second. Hey everyone, if you are on the Self Love Club page now, give me just a second. We're gonna start in about 2 minutes, just making sure audio and everything is good to go. All right, guys. All right, guys. Hey everyone, welcome to the Self Love Club, the first ever Girl Talk. We are so excited to be launching this and so excited for our very special guest, Dr. Mary Kay Matthews is in the building with us, taking some time from her Memorial Day. Thank you so much for sharing your time. We were just discussing that obviously it's Memorial Day, so our kids are home. So if at any point you can hear our kids in the background or people in the background or somebody walking by, it is what it is, right? We're moms, right. We're wives, this is what we're doing. So welcome to Girl Talk today on this final 2 days, right, of Mental Health Awareness Month. We, Stacy and myself, who actually Stacy is currently on vacay, so she's taking good care of her own mental health.
Good self-love.
Celebrating her birthday and her anniversary and just having a little breakaway. So on behalf of Stacy and myself, we thank you for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Mary Kay, again. So I just wanted to kind of give a little intro to you, Dr. Mary Kay. We know each other via church. So we both attend, or all three of us actually attend, Kingdom Life Christian Ministries here in San Antonio. And we got to know each other, and you are a very knowledgeable, you are an expert in the fields of mental health and psychology, and you have just such a vast experience with that. So we thought, what better person to have on this line with us today during this girl talk than you. So if you don't mind just introing kind of yourself and your background and what you do for us here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me, Lisa. It's always a pleasure. You know, there's nothing that I would not do for you or Stacy, so I'm happy to be here. But as you said, so I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I've been practicing for 13 years now. Been working with the federal government. So what I do currently, I work with veterans as a substance abuse coordinator right now. And I'll be transitioning here shortly to working with the suicide prevention team. So that's a little bit of what I do. I also oversee our counseling ministry at Kingdom Life. So very happy to be here.
Awesome. So you said you're going to be, I know I talked to you offline about this, but you're going to be transitioning to the suicide prevention line, right?
So yeah, it's actually it's called a clinical resource hub. So I'll still be working with veterans. So just transitioning from the residential substance use program. So in that capacity, what I'll be doing is working with those with kind of chronic suicidality. So those who have had kind of really prominent suicide attempts over the past few years who need individual psychotherapy for that.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
Wow. We will be praying for you in that work. That's
Thank you.
heavy work and a heavy load that you are going to be taking on, but you are the woman for the job. So
Amen.
yes,
Amen.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, let's get right into it. We do have questions just that we wanted to cover. I know that we know that we've had a tough few weeks, a tough really in the tragedies that have happened, a tough few years really since the pandemic, that a lot of I guess if you would call it trauma, right, that has occurred with the pandemic, and then just things that are happening in our world with the war that's happening, and most recently the shootings that happened, and it's just a lot. And so we were thinking about this month, and just in light of even last week, right, the shootings at the school, and we were just thinking it would just be so helpful to have a conversation with an expert in how to kind of handle stress, and how to take care of our mental health, especially as women, right? We carry whether you're a mother or a wife or a single woman, you carry a lot of stress that you don't realize that can weigh heavy on you. So so we had a couple of questions. If you don't mind, we'd love
to say, let's do it.
Yeah, hopefully our viewers, listen, if you're joining us live on Facebook now, go ahead and type in your name in the chat. We'll shout you out here as well. If you have questions that you would want to ask, feel free to type them in. If we're not able to answer them here, we'll
get back to you and
back to you. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get started. So the first question that we have is, what are some specific mental health issues that you find that are more prevalent in women?
Yeah, no, I love that question because there are definitely some differences across genders for sure. I'm going to say that depression and anxiety are two that we really want to pay attention to because they're more prevalent in women than men.
Really?
Definitely. Yeah. They're leading, amongst women. So along with that, you probably already have guessed this, but postpartum depression is still alive and well. Is something that we want to pay attention to when it comes to us specifically. We want to definitely make sure that we're having conversations with, just our fellow women about how are you feeling after you've had the baby. A lot of times there's attention, given to us being pregnant, but then after you give birth, that woman is feeling pretty lonely and feeling, my body has changed and all the attention has been, on the baby, but I'm no longer carrying the baby anymore. Wow. So we need to have conversations with, how are you feeling about that? Because so much can happen. Other things that we see, eating disorders, okay, because there's so much. Think about media and how it depicts us. Remember, we want to be slim and trim, right? That's still a thing. But then we also have media depicting us as, being thick and curvaceous. And so what's the in between, What's too big, what's too small? So body image is definitely something that can impact our mental health. Yeah. Another thing that we see, borderline personality disorder, and we get a lot of, questions about, well, what is that, right? Right. How does that take place, or what would it look like? So I want you to think about someone who really appears to be very moody, sometimes impulsive, sometimes it can be that they're having very unstable or toxic relationships. So things are really black and white, choppy. So that would be some of the disorders that we see a lot with our women.
I had to mute because my baby was in the background here.
Oh, okay. No worries. No worries. We said we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with it.
Unmute it anytime. It's probably because I have children in the background.
Yes.
I'm trying to like really hone into what you're saying. That is so interesting. I never thought about even, body, how you perceive yourself, right? Your body image and how that can weigh on your mental health.
Absolutely.
That's so interesting. Wow.
Yeah, and we think a lot of times that it comes from, other people. I guess another thing that I want to highlight there is that it's also the pressure that we put on ourselves.
100%.
So yeah, don't forget. I mean, we want to look a certain way, and it's going to impact our psyche. So if I'm not looking like how I looked when I was in my 20s, but don't forget, we're not in our 20s, for some of us anymore. So there's also this acceptance of we're getting older and we're going to look different. Our metabolism has changed, and really making sure that we comprehend that and that we're being honest with ourselves. So it doesn't mean that we're going to necessarily be overweight, but giving ourselves that grace to really age gracefully and making sure that we have that time. I know we're going to talk a little bit about, self-love and self-care, but make sure we have that time to, hey, this is what I have to put in place to make sure that I maintain, the way my weight that I want to look.
Right. That's so interesting because I, about maybe it was about 2 years ago, when I think it was actually during the pandemic when, when we were at home and we just had a lot of time to like introspect and be with ourselves. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how like personally how much of like in bondage I was to my own perception of myself, right? Like my own body image issues, like carry those throughout my entire, because I've always been really, really thin and just not, I'm the opposite, right? I want the curves and like
you want it.
all of that, right?
Yes.
So I've always longed for that. And so, but I didn't realize how much I actually thought about how I looked all throughout the day. And you can't even really be at peace because you're not at peace with yourself and how you feel about yourself. So it was during that pandemic time when I finally and I really did do a lot of prayer, and I heard God, tell me, be free, just be free. And that it just like changed completely, which is funny because really Self-Love Club was born out of that, right? That change.
Wow.
Yeah. But you're so right on how that weighs on us, and we don't even realize it because I think we're just conditioned to think that that's normalcy, to like put down yourself and put down your body and not feel positive about your your body image since like adolescence, right?
That's right. So
man, that's so good though. That I wouldn't even have considered that as being like something we have to make sure we're checking in on. We could stay on that question for a while, right? So
we can.
Yeah, the next question, it kind of ties into that, but what would you recommend to women who are facing mental exhaustion, whether it be from postpartum, as you said, or body image issues, or the things that you mentioned? What do you kind of recommend for that usually?
Honesty first. Honesty. I mean, the first step is awareness, right? So we want to make sure that we understand that it's happening. So kind of catch it, and we have to check it so that we can eventually change it. So kind of those 3 C's.
Right.
And write it down. We journal almost about a lot of different things. Sometimes our inner thoughts, our love life. Sometimes it's just keeping a grocery list or, our favorite movies, quotes. Why not about our inner thoughts as well? And those things that are bothering us. So I would first just kind of put down that, hey, I'm having these thoughts. They're pretty pervasive. This is coming up a lot. I'm ruminating over it. Right. It's really, really bothering me. And let it become even sort of a prayer list as we're praying about it. And we're noticing, okay, this isn't going away. It's really, really bothering me. Next, let's talk about it. You can
Mhm.
talk to your mate, you can talk to, siblings, you can talk to close friends, and really just because a lot of times we're going to find that our, just like we're doing right now, girl talk, we're going to find
Yeah.
that other women are struggling with these same things. And
Yeah.
you're going to notice that you're not alone, because I think that we need to do that more. We need to understand that I'm not alone in this. This
That's
is
so
something that the average woman is going through, you
Yeah.
know? And if you cannot find kind of that solace, that peace there, and knowing that I'm not alone, it's time to start speaking to someone, especially if it impacts your day to day. If you're noticing that I can't do what I normally do around the home, or
Mhm.
it's impacting my relationship, my marriage, it's impacting things at work, it's
Right.
time to speak to someone, because that exhaustion, then what it's going to start doing is changing your temperament. It's going to start changing your worldview. Then it's going to be everything else, and you're going to see things kind of falling by the wayside, and that's what we don't want to do. I think all of us are trying to, I don't want to fall apart, right? I
Right.
don't want to decompensate. That's what we're trying to prevent. But these are our warning signs. Our warning exhaustion is just kind of letting us know, hey, something's wrong. So
Right.
by writing it down, that first step is us tracking it, and we're able to kind of gauge it and see, hey, is this getting better or is it getting worse?
That's good. That's good. And maybe even indicators.
Mm-hmm.
Like at what point am I feeling um exhausted mentally? Is it when I'm more on social media? Is it when I'm
That's right.
yeah, yeah.
Right. Where is it happening? When is it happening? How often is it happening? You got it.
So can you repeat real quick the three C's? It was the
Catch it,
catch it,
check it,
check it,
change it.
and change it. That's
Mhm.
so good. That might be in the next year's catalog of shirts. Catch it,
Hey,
check it, change it.
you
I
know
love
I buy it.
yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay,
Matter of
so
fact, I just have one request. Let me model that one.
yeah, oh, you got it, ma'am. You got it. I love that actually. So what are healthy ways that we can manage the stress that we carry and kind of after we've done this and we've kind of realized this is where I'm at, what are some healthy ways that you recommend for us to manage that stress?
Yeah. I want to go back to one that we just kind of we talked about briefly.
Yeah,
Having that inner circle is so important, because I think a lot of times we're so used to being superwoman and holding things on our own. And I really we have to break it. I see so many people that are just kind of bowled over. And I mean, just carrying these
yeah.
bags of, oh, I can do this. And, I wish we can talk more about where that comes from. Sometimes it's a cultural thing. Sometimes it's, I've asked for help before and I didn't receive it in the manner that I was looking for it. And I'm stressing that for a reason. It's not that help isn't there, but it wasn't there in the way that I was looking for it. So sometimes it may
Okay.
not come from our mom. So for instance, we wanted mom to be there and we wanted to be really
Mhm.
close, but maybe mom is going through her own issues and she didn't see those signals, or she couldn't be there because of things that happened between her and her mom. So she
Right.
didn't see it, but there was maybe an aunt or there was a grandmother, or sometimes maybe it was dad that tried to step in and fill the gap, but you didn't want it from that person. It had to be mom. But there are sometimes friends, there are spiritual mothers, there are spiritual fathers, there are people who really do attempt to be there. They're also, again, our spouse, their best friends, their inner circle. We have to make sure that we're able to receive from those people that the Lord puts in our circle, to
Yeah.
be there. So that's very important. But just making sure that we have it, making
Yeah.
sure that you already know, hey, I'm feeling down. Who can I go to? That's going to be very, very, important. Hobbies.
Okay.
That's important as well. So what are your outlets? What are the things that have worked before? Sometimes it's going to be going back to those things, right?
Right. Right.
So we have to have that time, whereas we just strengthen and we replenish ourselves. So it
Yeah.
can't just be that it's all about our business or it's all about the
Absolutely.
home. It's
Right.
all about our lovely husbands, right?
Right.
We have to take a break, and it has to be a timeout, from those things. So that can be going to the spa. It can be a massage. It can be journaling. It can be so many different things, and it can be therapy. It's
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We
That's
don't want that to be a word that's hidden.
that's important to stress because I think there is a stigma, you
Hmm.
know, it's like, oh, I can't go to a therapist. There's just a stigma around that. But it's so key that it's okay. It's okay to find a safe place and use an expert like yourself to bounce your thoughts with, and that's fine.
And you know what, Lisa, this is what I often think of. When else do we get an hour that's ours?
That's good. That's so
And that's
good.
a different spin on it. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
an hour and it's not really, so we have that whole word that, I'm going to see a shrink, right? And it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh because there's nothing shrinking about it. No one's going to shrink your brain. No one's going to do any, special on
Yeah.
but we have to address it. It really is that hour for you to, hey, this is what's going on. And I feel like I'm going to explode if I don't get this out of me. And it's okay. Let's talk about it. And it's no judgment, right? There's no bias. It's okay. And guess what? That therapist is going to look at you and ask, would you like for me to give you feedback on this? And you kind of get the yes. Or no, but it's up to you, because don't get me wrong, you're paying for this and we would love to. That's what we're there for. But they're going to ask you, I have some feedback. Would you like to hear it? And that's the beauty in it. But it's your hour.
Right. That is such a good point. I never thought about that, how often in a day we get an hour just to like unload and share our thoughts and have someone intently listen.
And it's all about you. Like there is no other intent. There's nothing else on the table. There's no other agenda. But hey, what's going on with you? What do you need?
Yeah.
And I think it's so foreign to us as women that we almost don't know what to do with it. It's like, huh?
100%. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
You kind of looking behind you. You have to me.
That's so true. That's so true. What do you say, just going off of what you said about, having a circle of people or somebody you can kind of go to, right? What do you say to the woman who, because I think that we often all feel like this, or most of us feel like this, where it's like, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be a burden. Or no, I can handle this stress on my own. I'm good. Like you said, right? The superwoman complex. I don't need to tell anybody about it. I'll be fine. What do you what would you recommend to the woman who feels that way? Like, I don't want to be a burden. I'm better off just handling it myself. And then,
Yeah. We weren't meant to be alone.
That's good.
I would take it right back to the word and knowing that we all need someone. Even the strongest of us, we need someone. Yeah. And I don't know many people, myself included, who could get through any of the things this life throws us by ourselves. So together we're better for it. So if we're really looking at being a burden, remember, we were meant to carry with one another. We were meant to carry each other's burdens. And that's really good, because you want to have a sounding board. You want to have someone who can actually be able to tell you, hey, you're not okay. I know you think that you're doing well and that you're handling everything, but I want to tell you what I see. I want to tell you that I see you really, really suffering. I see you not smiling. I see you angry, or I see you subdued, and I'm here. And can I just, even if you don't want me to say anything, can I just be in this moment with you? Can I give you a hug? Can I hold your hand? Can I go to this appointment with you? Do you want me to at least be there? Can I drive you to it? Yeah. Just know that we can take the cape off. And how about that? Can I hold your cape? Because you're still Superwoman, but can I hold your cape? Even Batman had Robin,
Yeah.
Like just I'm here.
Wow. That's so beautiful. That even makes me think of, how important it is, even if you are not the one who's necessarily going through a season where you're needing kind of someone else or that care, right? And you're kind of in a good place, right? just being intentful with the other women around you. That just makes
Right.
me so encouraged to just be more watchful as a woman, as a fellow woman, with my friends and those who I my coworkers, just kind of being more watchful and recognizing those those
Mhm.
moments where you can kind of help them, like you said, let me hold your cape, I got your cape. That's so beautiful.
And what if we even shared? I think it's something, there's a gift in sharing with someone that, I need you to know that you held my cape this day. Because
Wow.
sometimes we do it and we don't even know that we've done it for each other. And
Yeah.
just saying that, for instance, last Friday,
Mhm.
this was happening in my life. There was like a perfect storm brewing, but I
Mhm.
need you to know that you did that for me without even knowing that you did it. That day when you brought me a coffee, or you stopped by and you said, I don't know what it is, but something made me stop by your office and I just wanted you to know that you're loved.
Yeah.
Or, hey, do you want to go out Friday? Because we haven't hung out.
Right.
And for all you know, that person was thinking of suicide and you didn't know this, but that Friday was meaningful. It was
Right.
intentional. And that, like that day, they had it all planned out. And because you mentioned Friday,
Mhm.
someone cares about me. And they're
Right.
connecting the dots. You knew nothing about what Friday was, but they connected those dots and said, wow, Friday. And they had already, prayed to the Lord that you better send somebody, because if you don't, Friday's it.
Wow.
So we just have to really, I think that's the testimony of it too. It's just letting
Mhm.
people know that I need you to know what you did for me that day.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's just really good. It's funny because I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you and I'm like, I know we're on Facebook Live and I know this is girl talk for the people, but I'm like, wait, let me just be selfish for a minute and take that in. That's
Yeah.
so, I let me hold your cape. That's gonna stay with me. I love that so much. So
Yeah.
much. That's beautiful. Cause like you said, you're still recognizing, hey girl, you're nothing less because somebody's helping you. You know,
Right.
that's a beautiful thing. That's really, really beautiful. I love that. Um, okay, so self-love club, right?
Hmm.
What does the term, because our mission, right,
Hmm.
um, is to encourage women to really be the best version of themselves and to give them, through t-shirts, give them reminders monthly of how amazing and awesome and powerful we are
Yeah.
as women.
And it's such a
And
beautiful concept. You did that.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're excited about, our the heart behind it and where it's going to. And just even having this conversation with you just kind of fuels a little bit more for us. So,
Hmm.
but with that being said, we focus a lot on when we hear the term self-love, we always focus on like, oh, being my best self. Let me exercise, let me eat right, let me take a spa day, which is all fantastic things. But
Hmm.
in terms of self-love and you being, a mental health expert, how or why is it important that we consider our mental health when we think about self-love as well?
Yeah. The biggest thing that I could really just point out and drive home is that you want to make sure that you are whole,
Yeah,
and that happiness and satisfaction is there, because we can't do anything for anyone else if we're not okay.
right,
So it starts with self-love.
right,
We can't go to the spa even if we're
mhm,
not okay, so there has to be this baseline, so to speak,
right,
of us having that little bit of power, that little bit of energy to carry on.
yeah,
And so when I think about self love and what it should mean for women, like us every day, it
mhm,
means that reboot, that energize, that it has to start with us so that we can even give it to all of those around us.
right,
So it has to be that, hey, this is our little wick on the candle, and
mhm,
how it gets kind of buried in the wax there. We have
mhm,
to dig that back up, and
yeah,
trim it every once in a while so that it can be lit. And
yeah,
that's where it starts.
mhm,
So think about what your reboot is. And very well, it could be the spa.
Right.
but maybe it's my me time. It's
Mhm.
my making sure that that my hygiene is okay. So
Right.
just as we bathe ourselves, as we trim our nails, as
Yeah.
we brush our teeth, it's mentally. Let me do
Yeah.
my mental check. Am I
Yeah.
okay? Let me touch my heart. Are my emotions all right?
Yeah.
As we check our blood pressure, our pulse, how
Yeah.
am I feeling?
Right.
What's going on with me? What aura, what energy am I giving off? What are my
Right.
thoughts like? Right? How am I perceiving my interactions with other people? And
Mhm.
that's the self-love,
Yeah.
because it's what I'm putting out when someone comes and they're standing next to me. Am I giving grace?
Mm.
Right? Or am
Yeah.
I giving anger? Am I giving
Mhm.
anxiety? Am I giving that depression and frustration? And why? Where is that coming from?
Yeah.
Where is it stemming from? I
Mhm.
got to talk about it. Am I being abused?
Mhm.
Am I hiding addiction?
Right.
Am
Right.
I
Right.
thinking of ending, my life? What's happening?
Yeah.
And let's be transparent about it. So self-love is going to start with that honesty. It's going to start with that situational awareness. It's going to start with those gauges,
Right.
of, hey, what's going on? And we need to know, where do I need to be kind of topped off, refilled.
Right. I think in what you're saying too, I think it's important to have, like you said, like those silent moments, right?
Mhm.
Where you're kind of like checking on
And me
yourself.
time. Yep.
Me time, yeah. And they can literally just be, I found that even personally, like some of my me time is just laying in the bed, like not starting my day, not touching my phone, like those
Come
first
on.
few minutes in
Come
the
on.
morning where I'm just like, okay, how do I feel today? Do I even have the energy to accomplish what's on my plate today? Do things need
Right.
to be moved for tomorrow? And I need to really focus on a rest day today. Just having those, like, and it's such a habit that I think is so healthy, especially for women, because we get up out of that bed and we are like, go, 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 go. I'm mommy. I'm a therapist. I'm a business owner. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm all
Clear
these.
the agenda sometimes.
Yeah.
And we don't know how to do that, Lisa. So and it's so funny. I was having a conversation. It had to be so a little bit before all of the shootings and everything was
Yeah.
happening. I want to say about maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I was
Mhm.
having a conversation about the very thing that you just stated, and
Mhm.
that every month I want to be intentional about just clearing the calendar and
Yeah.
having a day, whereas I have no idea what I'm going to do. And I
Yeah.
don't want anybody to schedule anything for me. And I want to really just have this like a la day, whereas I don't know, maybe I'm just gonna go get ice cream. And nope,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not for my son, it's not for anyone else. Maybe it's just cut. I'm just gonna go do it. And
Yeah.
I don't know. You know how,
Mhm.
and then where are you going? I don't have an agenda. And don't plan anything for me.
Yeah.
Don't I just want it to be just that. But there's something really beautiful in that, because it's a
Mhm.
lost art for most women, in that
Right.
we don't have it, because there's a sports activity, there's cleaning the house, there's laundry, there's something. But
Yeah.
it's okay to not have a space filler.
Sorry,
So
they're
it's
all
okay.
all
No, I
my
get it.
nephews all
That's
walked in right now.
I get it.
Hey,
But this is
quiet.
beautiful. We couldn't have planned it any better.
We couldn't have.
We couldn't have planned any better.
Quiet. um, they're talking about fruit right now.
Yeah.
So what I think is so important, just piggybacking off of what you're saying, is because I struggled with this, right? I struggled with taking those days off or clearing my schedule or doing just what I wanted to do because I felt guilty because the laundry wasn't done. I knew the house needed to be clean. Well, what are we gonna eat for dinner if I check out for the day? So I realized that I wasn't, and that carries even more stress. Because you're like, well, I can't even take a day if I wanted to because I have just so many too many responsibilities. Like, so how do you not feel guilty? Because I think that we, as women, we struggle with that, just feeling guilty because we know that there's so much, we're such an important piece
I'm
of
about
the
to
day.
make you laugh, and
Yeah.
everybody else that's tuning in or who will see this
Yeah.
later, because you're ready for the answer.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We're going to delegate.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a Little Caesars, there's a Pizza Hut, there's something that the family likes,
Yeah.
and that's why they're there. Okay.
Right.
Because we don't have to cook every night.
Right.
Sometimes you don't have to cook every other night.
Hold
We can
on.
plan. We can plan. We can
Right.
plan. And guess what? And everybody's going to be okay.
Everybody's
No one's going to starve. They're going to eat. Okay.
Yes.
We
Yes.
can have lunch meat sandwiches and chips. We
Yes.
can have a picnic in the backyard. We live in
Yes.
beautiful Texas. We
Right.
can do that. It
Right.
doesn't have to be hot meals all the time. It's already hot.
Sure.
There's
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
we can do. And you know what? And I love this because as we talk about, can you hold my cape today? The
Yeah.
other thing that we have to talk about is teaching our families, the ones who are supposed to rally around us and be our support system as well, what it looks like when we are fatigued. They need to be the first ones who not only recognize it, but they also need to be ones who respect it as well, because we need
Right.
them. We need them. That's what support system
That's
is.
good.
And
Yeah.
it's, hey, I need you to know what it looks like when mom is tired,
Yeah.
or when your wife is tired, and it's all right, because I want to also be able to recognize it when you're tired, and that's the give and take.
Yeah.
This is how we support one another,
Yeah.
because we want to keep each other healthy. You
Yeah.
don't want me checking out of here early. I don't want you checking out of here early, but this is
Right.
how we preserve one another. This is how we keep one another healthy. So there's going to be moments, maybe it's a few times a month, and when you see that I'm resting, when you see me exhausted, this isn't me being lazy. This isn't me not loving you.
Yes.
This is
Right.
me loving me. This
Right.
is me saying time out, and somebody else needs to step up. And the
Yeah.
beautiful thing is, like, so in the workforce, we call it cross training. So you know how to take these clothes out the dryer. You know
Right.
how to press start on here.
Right.
Guess what? Mommy's gonna cross train you.
That's
This
good.
is how you do it.
I love
This is,
that.
yeah. This
Love
is how we do it. Here's the app on my phone. My card is already loaded. On this day, you go ahead and you order. And yes, I'm saying I can use your card. You can use my card. I'm giving you the authorization on this day.
Right.
Like, we can do it. But it's teamwork. And it's having them recognize that, hey, I need you to do this.
Mm-hmm. And
This
then
is what it
also,
is.
yeah, and even that, it doesn't matter if we spent the whole day cleaning. Guess what? Tomorrow the work will still be there for us. So understanding that the work, whether we take a day off or
Goes
not,
on.
work is always going to be there the next day. And so understanding that, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Delegating. Delegate.
Delegating.
So this has been just so loaded here. So another key, do you have any other, just in closing, because I feel like we can go on for maybe another hour. Do you have any other kind of key points that you'd like to make, just within your expertise and experience, and regarding mental health and women, like any final kind of like, hey, don't forget this, or any final key points that you have?
Yeah, I share this one a lot, but I think that it's worth the overshare. It's
Okay.
just that no is an anointed word, that there are going to be times that
That's
we
good.
can't do it.
Right.
And I think that as we talk about self-love and just
Mhm.
protecting our peace and really carving out that me time,
Mhm.
and even when we want to, seek help, because a lot of times I do hear women say that, I want to go to counseling. I know I need counseling for this,
Right.
but I haven't been able to set aside time. Well, there's some things
Right.
that we have to say no to, because if we can make time
Right.
for the extracurricular activities or for the extra assignment, on our job to try to get that promotion, and just all the
Right.
things that we do commit to, know there's going to be some things that we're going to have to say no to, so that we can take care of ourselves, and that it's okay. A lot of times it's not the guilt. We need to think about the things that we commit to that hasn't
Yes.
necessarily been laid out for us or told to us by God, right?
Right.
So we should be saying yes to those things that He gives us insight on, that He's spoken to us about, not those things that we feel kind of compelled and, oh, I don't want to disappoint this person.
Sure.
Let's not disappoint Him.
Yeah.
So it's an anointed word. Really seek Him
Yeah.
before we commit to things, because 9 times out of 10, we can alleviate a lot of our stress, a lot of the things that we're feeling,
Mhm.
overburdened by, if we would just hear His voice and just, nope, I need to clear this and you'll find the time to do some of the things that we need to do for ourselves.
Yeah, that's so good. So no, it's okay
No,
to say no.
it
It's okay
doesn't
to
feel,
say
and it
no.
feels good. And we don't have to be
Yeah,
nasty with it. It's just kind of, no,
yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
no,
I'm
I
at
won't be able to do
capacity
that.
at this moment. Thank you, but I'll pass on that.
Yeah, and if ever my schedule frees up and I'm able to do
Yeah,
that, I may come back to you, but no,
yeah.
it's okay.
Well, in the spirit of no, I want to thank you for not saying no for this conversation that we've had today. I know that your family is home, so and I don't want to keep you, away from them for too long. So blessed by this conversation. We may have a
Likewise.
part two. I don't think we just have to have this during Mental Health Awareness Month. I
That's
think
right.
that just the constant reminder of these key points that you made is so important. So we may have a part two. We'll see. This has been such a blessing. So awesome. Thank you again, Dr. Mary Kay. Do you have any plugs? Do you have any kind of plugs or anything we can
No,
put
I'm
out
just
for you?
happy to be here. Happy to
Oh,
be here. Always a pleasure. Whenever you need me, you know that I'll be available.
yes, ma'am.
So yes. And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
love what you and Stacy are doing. I really do mean
Oh,
that.
thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. And if anybody has any follow-up questions, if you've heard something that just kind of like, blessed your whole soul like me,
Oh,
make sure you comment down below, ask any questions. We may, come back to you on those answers. So I may be shooting you some questions, some follow-up
okay.
questions, if you don't mind.
Not
But
at
yeah,
all.
so that is that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much again for your time. Really
You're very
appreciate
welcome.
and love you.
All right. Love you
Bye,
too.
everyone. Thank you for joining us.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
Let me go ahead and so I have to now end this meeting and then end the call with Grace. So y'all are still alive. Let me just end the call and end the meeting with Grace. Dr. Mary Kay, you are free to leave. Let me figure this out right here.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome.